senators from various political parties on political process, views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to everyone at 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
Political tension builds when politicians, show their supporters the impression that violence is a solution to, political issues. Good afternoon and welcome to Political Views on Ebona and the 103.5 FM. I am Martin Ifan Chukwueke. Adeleke is called the dancing governor, but it is important, that we note this now. His dance for Buga is a sign, is something that we expect from politicians on a very good day to calm their supporters, to make sure that their supporters are not causing violence. When his supporters will see that, okay, this person that is being, that is getting this kind of result is not reacting violently, I think somehow they will learn a thing or two from that. And that's why I applaud him when it comes to that. It is important, that his dancing attributes helped in easing the tension in Osun State after the tribunal declared Oyetola winner. It is 25 days to the next election, presidential and National Assembly election, come 25th February 2023. Nigerians who wants to see a new Nigeria, are already showing that eagerness that they are prepared to do this, with the level or amount of PVCs collected so far. INEC is already, attesting to that fact that they are encouraged by the turnout of registered voters and surge in the number of collected PVCs across the country so far. Now, even with the extended deadline of the usage of the old Naira bill or old Naira note to February 10th, 2023, the Senate is seeking Emefili's arrest. The fact that most people hope that this will change, this change of Naira note will also change the way our politics is being played. Will curb the vote buying, this is like the hope of so many people when it comes to this particular thing, that this is going to curb vote buying, and then the electoral process will be so, authentic and be exactly what we want it to be. Appear to the electoral process will be so fair, basically, and equity also will be involved when it comes to all of this. Yes, it is Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. It's all about your views on all that is going on in the political space in Nigeria today. So before we go any further, let me bring you up to speed on the happenings in the Nigerian political space today. Now, the headlines. PVC Extension. Civil society organizations hail INEC, urge commission to address complaints. Accept G5 governor's decision on presidential candidate. Federal government okays US visa ban on democracy saboteurs. Socio-economic rights and accountability project urges Buhari to probe alleged attack on Obi, sanitize polity. Abia PDP zones vacate Guba seat to Ishiarangwa, not local government area. Obi, most prepared to govern, says ex-army chief. New Naira notes, fuel crisis, compound Nigerians' woes. Lawyer alleges violation of manifestos, INEC 2014 guidelines. Community leader decries attack on Ugwuanyi, tax politicians on peace. Sanctity, sancti, sanctity of 2023 polls depend on Buhari's decisiveness. Ekweremadu, 7-week jury trial begins on Tuesday. Accept G5 governor's decision on presidential candidate, Isi Guzoro tells Nigerians. Factional Ohaneze Ndi Igbo yesterday said they will back decisions of G5 governors led by Wike of Rivers State on any presidential candidate they would be endorsing for this year's presidential election, pleading with Nigerians to accept their choice to move the country forward. In a statement in Abakaliki, the Ebonyi State capital, factional Secretary General of Ohaneze Okechukwu Isiguzoro noted that the Apes Igbo Social Cultural Organization would accept their choice because Nigerians have seen Wike and others as heroes of democracy, whose intentions are to present a preferred presidential candidate with competence and capacity to bring back the country's lost glory. Ohaneze thanked the G5 governors, especially Wike, for standing firm for the people of Nigeria to ensure that injustice against southern Nigeria by People's Democratic Party, PDP, does not stand. The statement reads, Ohaneze has called on Nigerians to accept the choice of G5 governors in their bid to present a unifier and southerner as their preferred presidential candidate for this year's general elections. PVC Extension, civil society organizations hail INEC, urges commission to address complaints. Some civil society organizations in Enugu State have lauded the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for listening to the cry of Nigerians to extend the distribution of ongoing permanent voters card PVCs nationwide. The civil society organizations gave the commendation in separate interviews with the News Agency of Nigeria in Enugu on Monday on the numerous benefits of the extension. The chairman of the Civil Liberty Organization, CLO, Anambra, Mr. Vincent Ezekwueme, said that the extension was more beneficial to those in the southeast due to the numerous sit-at-home orders agitating group. According to him, INEC officials should address all the complaints, difficulties, predicaments, and lamentations encountered by prospective voters, especially those in the southeast zone. He urged Nigerians to utilize this unique opportunity provided by the extension to collect their PVCs and be alive to their civic rights and responsibilities. The chairman called on Nigerians to report to security agents anywhere demanding monetary inducement or gratifications before PVC collections. The federal government and INEC have made it clear that the registration and collection of PVC is free throughout the country without exceptions. The next story we have for you: federal government okays US visa ban on democracy saboteurs. The federal government says whatever action taken against anyone who undermines the nation's democracy, watered by the blood of many patriots, is right and justified. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, stated this on Monday in Abuja at the 20th edition of the President Muhammadu Buhari PMB Administration Scorecard Series 2015 to 2023. Muhammad was responding to the decision by the United States of America to slam a visa ban on some Nigerians believed to be responsible for or complicit in undermining democracy in Nigeria. The decision was announced in a statement recently issued by the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. The minister reiterated the position of the Buhari administration to ensure free, fair, and credible elections as well as smooth handover to a successor elected by Nigerians in May 29. As a government, we are proud to say that no administration since Nigeria's return to democratic rule in 1999 has shown more fidelity to the democratic process than ours. No president since 1999 has been as unambiguous as President Muhammadu Buhari in word and indeed with regards to leaving office after the constitutional lead stipulated 2 terms, he said. The next story we have for you: socio-economic rights and accountability project urges Buhari to probe alleged attack on Obi, sanitize polity. Socio-economic rights and accountability project (SERAP) has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to direct Inspector General of Police (IGP) Osman Baba to promptly, thoroughly, and transparently investigate the reported attack on Labour Party presidential candidate peterobi after a rally in Katsina State and other cases of election presidential candidate peterobi after a rally in Katsina State and other cases of election-related intimidation, harassment, and violence across the federation. It also wants him to order Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami San, to name the perpetrators and expeditiously bring them to justice. Obi was reportedly pelted on his way to the airport in the wake of 339 other similar violent incidents in 2022 in a letter issued at the weekend and signed by his deputy director, Kolawole Oluwarada, Oluwadare, Oluwadare. The group said escalating cases of electoral intimidation, harassment, and violence are fundamentally inconsistent with free and fair elections. According to Sarah, prosecuting the cases and bringing perpetrators to justice will check the trend and encourage fair elections and full participation by Nigerians in the electoral processes. Abia PDP zones vacate Isialangwa, not local government area. Following the death of the Abia PDP gubernatorial candidate, Professor Eliezer Uche Ikonne, on January 25th, 2022, and the subsequent directive by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to conduct a fresh primary within 14 days to replace it, members of the Abia PDP state caucus met today and zoned the vacant Guba seat to Ishialangwa, not local government area, the home local government area of the late Prof. Uche Ikonne. The decision was taken after a meeting of the Abia PDP state caucus, whose membership is drawn from across the state, including Abia North, Ikuano, Umuahia, Ukwa East, and Ukwa West local government areas. This was announced by Elder Abia PDP Vice Chairman / Acting State Publicity Secretary. Among those present at the meeting were the State Governor, His Excellency Dr. Okeze Victor Ibazo, former Governor of Abia State, Senator Theodi A. Oji, the Speaker of the Abia State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Engineer Chinedum Enyinia Oji, and the other two senatorial candidates of the PDP, and namely Senator Mau Owuabunwa and Colonel Austin Akobundu, respectively. Also present at the meeting were the statutory members of the Abia PDP state caucus, except one who sent in apology for his absence. Obi, most prepared to govern, says ex-army chief. A retired army chief, Colonel Chinyere Obi, has predicted that Nigeria will suffer socio-economic setbacks if the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, or that of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, wins in forthcoming general elections. Speaking to newsmen in Owerri yesterday, Colonel Obi, former national coordinator of Atiku House-to-House Support Group in 2019, said she withdrew her support for Atiku because she considered that the Labour Party presidential candidate peterobi the best alternative for a better Nigeria. She said she withdrew her support for Atiku because she considered the Labour Party presidential candidate peterobi the best alternative for a better Nigeria. She insisted that nobody who votes either Atiku or Tinubu does not want the best for Nigerians, especially common citizens, adding that only victory for P2B will guarantee a brighter future for the country. She said Nigerians should think and vote wisely. We should know that who we elect as president would determine if we want to move forward or backward as a nation. For me, I am not just thinking about Obi, Tinubu, or Atiku, but the general well-being of Nigeria and Nigerians, she said. The new Naira notes, fuel crisis compound Nigeria's woes. These are not the best of times for many Nigerians who have, in the last few months, contended with the lingering petrol scarcity amid deteriorating power supply and inflation, with the situation currently compounded by the rush to meet a new deadline for withdrawal of old banknotes from circulation. Best described as chaos, many Nigerians at the weekend thronged petrol retail stations, banking halls, and automated teller machines, ATM, in search of scarce and overpriced petrol, as well as new Naira notes, having deposited old banknotes in line with the directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Specifically, Nigerians lamented the orders search for petrol and new Naira notes as many commercial vehicle drivers, small businesses, and market women rejected the old banknotes for fear of being unable to deposit same at the banks before the deadline was 1,000 Naira notes can be readily accessed at ATMs and banks that had the new notes. The reverse is the case for lower denomination notes of 500 and 200. The 100 notes that were not redesigned were also not available at the banks. This situation was no different at fuel stations, and motorists continue to buy petrol between 195 and 500 naira per litre, depending on location and the retailer, prompting industry players to call for total removal of the subsidy scheme. The Central Bank of Nigerian policy also worsened queues at the fuel pumps as stations refused collecting the old notes and most motorists restored to POS and transfer, just as network issues and confirmation of debited money caused more delay in the time taken to attend to motorists. Lawyers alleges violation of manifestos, INEC's 2014 guidelines for registration of political parties. Lawyer alleges violation of manifestos, INEC's 2014 guidelines for registration of political parties. A lawyer and public interest advocate, Theodore Jr. Ezobi, has put on a federal high court for proper explanation of the sense in the provision contained in the guidelines for registration of political parties 2014. The contentious matter states that the manifesto of a political party upon submission to the Independent National Electoral Commission for registration must contain a provision showing that its constitution and manifesto conform with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the Electoral Act 2010, and the guidelines. He asked the court to determine whether in the course of its program and political campaign, a registered political party, its members, or sponsored candidates at the elections may issue concurrently and or interchangeably use any other documents, howsoever called, which neither was submitted to the defendant, INEC, nor contained a provision showing that it conforms with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution, but purports to be in the form, substance, semblance of promises affecting fundamental objectives and directive principles of the state policy to the electorate, referenced and associated with such political party and passed off as manifesto in the context of the guidelines under review, other than its registered manifestos, submitted, verified for conformity with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution, and thereafter published by INEC via its website to the general public. He also wants the court to declare that he has the constitutional right to maintain the application for himself and in the overall interest of the general public who, according to him, share a reciprocal want for the interpretation of his summons. Community leader decries attacks on Ugwuanyi, tax politicians on unity. Community leader Dr. Frank Ugwu has challenged politicians to work for unity. He enjoined people of Nsukka Cultural Zone of Enugu State to reflect on their love and support for one another. He specifically pleaded with partisan political actors from Enugu North Senatorial District to shield their swords and reinvent the philosophy of Nsukka of old. Ugwu stressed that Nsukka emphasizes unity, communism, supremacy, and promotion of Nsukka cause, interests, as well as mutual support to one another. He noted that those attributes were the hallmark of Dr. Okwesileze Nwodo's era, which he said propelled the emergency of a crop of eminent Nsukka sons and daughters who offered vintage activism and partnership in statecraft, resulting to prevailing solidarity then. He said the synergy was top-notch and helped in stabilizing as well as containing free radicals within Nsukka polity. Today, it is no more. This missing link is responsible for the present chaotic situation. The government has done so well for our people, considering two recessions and attendant paucity of funds. The political elite has failed in creating a buffer for absorbed shocks inherent in every polity, like in the old. The outpouring of hate, criticisms, pieces of writing on the governor, especially from our brothers of Nsukka extraction, is nuisanting and unfair to the person and the position of the governor. Ugwuanyi said Governor Ifeanyi Ugwu said Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi deserves commendation and appreciation, noting that Nsukka zone is coming from a background of deficit and serious neglect in all ramifications. Sanctity of 2023 polls depend on Buhari's decisiveness. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria yesterday said Nigerians should hold President Muhammadu Buhari responsible if terrorists attack this year's general elections. His national coordinator, Comrade Emmanuel Onwubiko, in a statement, condemned failure of the Nigerian leader to use performance indexes to assess his appointees in the security and defense sector and his want to appoint heads of security agencies based on nepotism and downright ethnic religious consideration. The group demanded rejigging of the nation's security architecture. Onwubiko said a president who gladly extended the tenure of an IGP under whose watch police stations are bombed on a daily basis and operatives killed like chickens is certainly not the kind of a statesman Nigerians expect to put out practical measures to stop violence before, during, and after the elections. Already, many rich Nigerians are flying out their families to Europe, have left the month to that left this month to Canada, US, and Great Britain to escape the violence related to the 2023 polls because the president has shown a lack of political will to combat these violent armed non-state actors. The 2023 elections may be marred by uncontrollable violence because of the inability of President Buhari to demand accountability and use performance indices to assess his appointees in the security and defense sector. For instance, 2 years ago, national identity number registration happened with the assurance that insecurity will fizzle out. But these attacks by terrorists, kidnappers, and assassins who now behead their victims have escalated. Yet the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, said the National Security Advisors (NSA) office that has the responsibility of coordinating national security has not demanded data for purposes of fighting terrorism, but President Muhammadu Buhari has refused to rejig the security agencies and appoint more competent heads, he declared. The last story we have for you before we open the phone lines and get to know your political views this afternoon is Ekweremadu 7-week jury trial begins on Tuesday. The conspiracy to facilitate harvesting organ trial of former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu begins at the Central Criminal Court, aka the Old Bailey, on Tuesday. It will last 7 weeks. A staff member of the court confirmed to newsmen on Friday. Ekweremando's wife, Beatrice, their 25-year daughter, Sonia, for whom the parents wanted a donor kidney, and Dr. Obinna Obeta will be tried with the former second topmost senator of Nigeria for conspiring to harvest David Wamini's kidney. Although Sonia, who was not originally on the charge sheet, but in a bizarre twist of fate, the prosecution dragged her in and charged her in the second half of December. Also, last month, the Ekweremados made a case for the dismissal of the charges, but after 2 days of legal wranglings, the pre-trial judge threw their applications out and did likewise for the senator's bail application, leaning toward the Crown's government argument that he remains a flight risk and might abscond from the United Kingdom if granted bail. However, Mrs. Ekweremadu, who was arrested with her husband at Heathrow Airport on June 23rd, has been on conditional bail, unlike her daughter, who may not be present in court for the entire duration of the hearing because of her ongoing medical treatment. Mrs. Ekweremadu, the senator, and Obinna are expected in court throughout 7 weeks. In September, Sonia made a public appeal on Instagram asking for any member of the public willing to donate a kidney to come to her aid so as to replace her damaged kidney. She revealed that she suffers from a rare kidney disease. She also disclosed that she had to drop out of the University of Newcastle in 2019 when she was diagnosed with a rare kidney disease, FSGS nephrotic syndrome. All right, there you have it. Your opinion today, could give insight to the way some of the things that is going on in the corridors of power today. Basically, it could give insights to our leaders on how to make it better for us. Remember that this is political views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Yes, Nigerians have been advised to adapt to the choice of the G5 governors, and then or their decision basically on presidential candidates. What is your take on all that is going on in the Nigerian political space right now? The numbers to call to become part of this conversation: 080-9666-1035. Hello.
Yeah, good
Yes.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Are you?
I'm so good. Your name and location, please. Okay, please go on.
The AEC was telling us to accept the decision of the G5.
That we don't even know already. That we don't know of yet. We don't know who is who they have chosen yet. But whatever decision they take, that we should adopt it.
Exactly. Their endorsement. Anyway, we are going to accept it, but then it should be based on integrity. And we, the people, actually knows where the integrity lies.
Okay.
If their outcome falls within the integrity point already known by the people, then the people will accept it.
Okay.
Then otherwise, will not gain our acceptance.
Okay.
Having said that, the matter of Anand Kano that they should release him. You see, I don't think that a government should see something that is capable of turning the whole system down, and then we're playing with it. I think our government should be very, very intelligent and know how to procure peace, rather than always on the war path.
Okay.
Somebody is on trial. Somebody is kidnapped from Kenya to this place, to Nigeria, and the court of competent jurisdiction have viewed the whole thing, and they've come out with a position that is still today valid in law, that the person should be taken back to Kenya, should be released.
Okay.
Taken back to Kenya.
Released unconditionally. That's what we heard. Like, should be released unconditionally and then paid, a particular ransom or paid a particular amount, to compensate him.
Yes. And somebody who says that he is a watchdog of the law, that he came into the president under the law, the constitution, is now playing football with the same law that brought him in.
Okay.
Not willing to yield or to obey the law at all, and trying to create danger and chaos in the system. This is dangerous, my brother.
Okay.
I think somebody who knows Muhammadu Buhari very well, or whoever his relations are, should tell him that what he is doing is dangerous. Because as I speak to you now, in a few months' time, I can be anywhere shopping with Buhari. I can be in China. I can be in France or in China or anywhere, going to the same orchard with Buhari to do shopping. He can sit in a restaurant and will come and sit behind him and will be eating. So what he's doing, I don't think he understands the future of it.
Okay.
If you try to release this man, because anything that happens to him now, the kind of man, amounts to murder.
Okay.
You cannot say that you are holding, because we are already hearing some news that they are poisoning him.
Yeah.
And now we don't know the situation of this. Let that man release the El Cano and let him not cause problems that is more than that create a problem in Nigeria.
Okay.
People that are opinion leaders in Nigeria should tell him. All these politicians keep quiet. They are not safe when this thing happens.
Okay.
Nobody's safe.
Okay.
Nobody's safe. So, my brother, about the Tinubu being happy that the time has been extended for the money.
Okay.
of all to say that the other bullion van that went into Tinubu's house, that he needs his way.
Okay.
And now begin to ask Nigeria, does it now mean that Tinubu is now a money misroad or what? Does it mean now that Tinubu now is a money misroad, that a bullion van like that should misroad to his house? Is it now a money misroad? Well, no matter the amount of money they strike, let them talk it. The youth of say that those money they are storing, being happy, storing the money to buy votes or buy whatever conscience in election time. They cannot succeed because we are all eyes open and the youth are watching them closely and they cannot use that money to buy anybody's conscience or any vote at all and the voting arena on that day. Let them try it and see. They can't try it because they are going to impound the vehicle, impound the money and everything. If the police and the army and all that CSOs or whatever refuse to make that arrest, you should arrest them and then impound all them and all their property and the money they were inclusive. So let them not think about that because they cannot do it at all.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you so much. Yes, it is still political views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. We need to hear from you. What is your take on all of this? Remember that we're also talking about the fact that Socio-Economic Rights Accountability Project is urging Buhari to probe the alleged attack on Obi and sanitize the polity. Let's hear from you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, no, sir. Gabaniru.
Okay. Madam Executive Matuji asked not to prepare to read.
Okay.
And you could use to not to prepare to read. But the one is open and a good idea. When you play it, some will able to put it. And I may idea and I will not become an event. Yeah, you could put on a video election. And I'm a free and way in the video. Come on, but you put it now because they use it. They may be said, you will be female. Well, I am a very bad. They keep in the way you come and everything. And I play about and I call you Anna. Although you are a man, time INEC, and by next in the time, they without wages. And then you extend. I'll put in the extend that he and the year on the question. You get to open my up and will run. But if I get the room where what is the rough out, you couldn't. You are going for my guy and insecurity no good there. And I expect the only about some or only about some and Mamma, I don't know other people cannot would do. Mamma, how about agency where maybe the call that I wear that was here. I'm going to not even name. I'm not allowed to react, but I did react. But you know, I don't know how I'm not to go to your look and the boom. But you have brought one, you win a lecture now over you win and you see it. But no, my papa or here. If you are out there near Kita, in the end, what you say, like that will be oh God,
okay. Then Aban attack. You were one again. Aban attack. Aban attack. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project and Agwa Buhari. Ya probo maka attack. Ya probo ya director Inspector General of Police. Ya probo. Okay, you may put anka.
And one of them, what do you need that is going to do? And then we need to talk about the company when they went to you. They will present them get you that you have done as soon as they are part. What you like to okay. Then they put in the key and then the way I put a Nigeria is your fault. They are not able to make a time on they drive. Easy to go time and now I have to but the end they go for Abuna. Only I'm going to put my answer. Above the answer, you may run your branch over. Also, I didn't see what put it. You need to take it for the Flaman, the yellow Japan, now getting in here. You see, you're like a black and tech. Now, what would you want to say with it and make it over the Yana? You put it to that. What of you got Nigeria in it? This is under Nigeria, you must say that. I'm not the kind of moment for democracy. They take him a good point after 1 year now. So, you're not a power point. But the end, they will find me. There's your and all who knows you. I want to take that. Let us take off a time, off a time, not in it. I still went off an acre. Oh, but maybe he didn't go to it. And then go to 10 days, we have 10 days. What does that now do? I said it's your Peter. If it doesn't see, I can now, any time. They make sure I'm making that to make it. How about you? You was often every Harry. Yeah, now you give you. I'm going to therapy, separate car to all good. I am going along. I'm not who we bear the car. But I thought they never have this with you. What we are now, a ga-eme ihe so ha na nọọsụ emechaa ya get away with it onwere oge hapụ ọbụta ka emebiri ekwe na-eme nke mbụ nke ka na-enye ya tita ọkụzie nke ọ na-akwa akwa ya bụ ọpụ tita na ahụ nke tachi ahụ ọnwụwa na n'ọnya mere ejiji na-ahapụ onye ejije hapụ ya ahụ na ihe na-enwe ya.
Okay, biko before ị gaba ka ihe inwe ikwu na kesi ekwere mmadụ ọ na-eje kọtụ echi ka ife inwe ikwu